want to thank everybody for watching Crypto Revolution. We talk about everything crypto daily. Before we jump into this video, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been smashing that like button, trying to get to 1,000 likes a video, like spike. Help me get that like spike going. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I'm going to keep you guys up to date daily on everything that's pertinent and important in the cryptocurrency space to make sure that you're very successful. Please leave a comment in the comment box. Let me know what number like you were. Did you smash that like button yet? Jumping right into the market today in crypto. Sideways. Overall market cap of cryptocurrency, $209 billion. Bitcoin at 73.03. Not a whole lot of price movement out of Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin daily chart. Could we see 8,000? $1 million question, right? So it's important to understand that, first of all, this is a rising wedge, right? Potentially there's a 68% chance at some point this breaks to the downside, okay? So going forward, we know this. That's understood. However, is there room for one more leg up? Yes, there is. The 200 simple moving average will be overhead resistance right about 8,000. Also, Bitcoin likes a 0.618 fib level. That's at about 8,000 as well. Now you're at some major overhead resistance. You do have some bearish divergence, some possible bearish divergence building. This is a Bitcoin 12-hour chart. Follow me here. So you've got a rising wedge, like we talked about. This guy is about to the end of it, right? You got this overhead resistance. These whales are trying to take our money. These whale games know, they're like, hey, retail's drawing these rising wedges. Always remember that the whales are thinking, hey, how can we take their money? Okay, here's how they're going to trade this. They're looking for a pullback here based on this idea. And so what are we going to do to make sure that they FOMO in at the last minute and then we pull the rug out from underneath them? So again, measured move. If this breaks lower, 5,000, 5,200 is in the cards. Remember, previously we had a golden cross and then a death cross. And now you see your 50 simple moving average headed sharply towards the upside, and potentially we'll get another golden cross here soon. And then when in the past, when this has happened on the daily chart, golden cross, death cross, golden cross, that's where the bull run has really taken off and started. And so we're headed that direction. Now, this is not the daily chart, obviously, but a lot of these signals happen first on the lower time frame. So again, if this pulls back, there's a lot of support levels. I'll keep you up to date. You might get a pretty quick drop if it does happen now. But you have to think, okay, yeah, we've got a possible bearish MACD cross. We've got some possible bearish divergence on the histogram, and you got this rising wedge. So the pullback and bounce here, which is possible, needs to be considered. I've got a cryptocurrency trading group. I've got 6 chat groups where everybody's calling out breakouts, posting charts, working together to trade this market. I've got 41 videos in a playlist. If you don't know anything about trading at all, nothing, you can watch these videos. You'll be making profitable trades. Number one reason why people join my trading group is I post profitable trading setups every single day, and we've been killing it. It's amazing to see the gains we make in the trading group on a daily basis. If you guys want to join the cryptocurrency trading group, you want to pay in crypto, email me, cryptobitcoinchris@gmail.com. I'll get you set up and in the group today. You pay for 6 months in crypto, you get a 20% discount. You pay for the year in crypto, you get an additional month for free and a 30% discount. If you do want to pay with a card month to month on a monthly basis, you can do so. There's a Patreon link that's in the description. This is Tezos up 72%. You can see here's the setup posted. Here's 52% out of Link. Again, bought the breakout down here. Here's the setup. Boom, 52% out of Link. Here's Ethereum, 57% gains out of Ethereum. Here's the setup posted in the trading group on the 17th of last month. Boom. Here is Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, again, posted March 17th, broke out 60% gains over time. This is Vechain, up 28%. I just posted this recently. Listen, the trading group is extremely successful, and you can see there's 1,584 people in the trading group. Now, most of these members are not short-term traders. They're not, let me trade with 100x leverage. Most of them buy and they hold for a couple months. They make a bunch of gains and they know when to sell. This person's up 1,000% on Link, but these people trade on leverage, so it's different. This person's up 215% on ADA. This is probably one of the best stories in the trading group that I've heard in a long time. I've successfully traded $4,000 into $96,000 over the last 3 weeks. What if we get one more leg higher? One more leg higher. If you look, this is potentially how the rising wedge or channel is drawn. Again, they trade the same way, so you could call it what you want. Again, you got all the simple moving average crossing bullish above the 200 on the 4-hour chart. Okay, and when these are in order, the 21, the 50, the 80, the 100, then the 200, that's when you kind of get a strong bullish trend. Now, we're not there yet, but it's getting started. Short term, like if it breaks lower, it could stay possibly in this rising wedge, and we see 6,800 or 7,000. There's a bunch of support here. You've got possible hidden bullish divergence here. Now, this gets completely invalidated if the price drops, and then it pushes this negative momentum on the histogram down, and then essentially negates or invalidates this idea. So there's a lot of things going on in Bitcoin, a lot of things to watch. Essentially, the target, if the bulls are able to push the price higher, 8,000. Remember that number, 7,800, 8,000. Remember that. Now, let's talk about this CME gap, the whale games. The whales love to play games with our money. They're trying to take our money. And wouldn't it be great just to get as many people as possible to FOMO in to this market before they pull the bottom out? Okay, so here we are. This is CME Bitcoin futures. This is the unfilled gap up here. Starts at about 8,300. Imagine these whales so close to that. Now, potentially they're thinking, okay, retail sees this, retail understands this, and so we're going to get close, but we're not going to quite hit it. Or we get one big, huge wick spike higher, everybody FOMOs in, and then we see a pullback. Possible. It's possible. Like, these whales are trying to trick us always. Like, when you trade this market, you shouldn't think, okay, well, where should I put my stop loss? And I was thinking about an analogy earlier today. It's kind of like you go to play a pickup game with NBA ball players. Like, these ball players, they got strategies, they got plays called, they're organized, right? These guys, you're trading against the elite here, okay? So you have to understand they're always trying to figure out, okay, how can we take retail's money? That's how they think. They counter trade the herd, and they're good at it, and they have potentially enough money to move these markets, right? And so just going into any type of trading strategy, you have to understand that. So will Bitcoin pump and fill this gap, 8,200? Let's get to 7,800, 8,000 first, and then we'll revisit this idea. This is a Bitcoin market cap dominance. And so right now, when this falls, altcoins take off. And you know, recently, like, these altcoins have been performing pretty well. Now, you do have a 4-hour death cross that's been confirmed. You've got this break to the downside of this rising wedge. The target down here is 63.5%. You do have a bullish MACD cross. RSI is bouncing, so possible we bounce a little bit, and these altcoins shut off for a brief period of time. Altcoins don't move as well when this is climbing. Okay, so keep that in mind. Important chart to understand. Do not be the average Joe crypto. You know, I'm able and fortunate enough to try to get these videos out to you on a daily basis, and I want to help you learn as much as you can about this market. There's a lot more to it. You know, there's a lot more to it. And what I want to show you is, like, a lot of people get frustrated with stop losses because they get stopped out. But the whales are trying to do this because, so let's just, who is Joe Crypto? Let's start there. Joe Crypto might be this guy.
I'm new to this whole Bitcoin thing. I just kind of read about it like the last 3 hours. So basically, it fluctuates prices over time. It can either go, whoa, it went up! It's 31,000! Is that for real?
Dude, this guy.
Whoa, it went up!
Average Joe Crypto. It's like, I'm new to this, and I just sunk about 30 G's into it. Now, this guy actually, he bought a mystery box. He's a YouTuber with a ton of subscribers. And he bought a mystery box. And he paid $20,000 for it. And there was, like, basically nothing in the mystery box. And then he got a Ledger hardware wallet. So the next thing you know, he's got $30,000 in crypto that he paid way less for because he bought it as a mystery box. Meanwhile, he's super excited. So do not be the average Joe Crypto. But a lot of people, you know, they come into Bitcoin and they're like, I'm going all in. And they don't even really understand how this market works. It's very important that you learn about this market before you just start pumping money into this market. That's why a lot of people first come into crypto and they get completely wrecked. So the idea here is, like, you have these huge wicks to the downside. See these huge wicks? You got huge wicks to the downside, right? The whales push this price down and everybody gets stopped out, and then the price moves and pumps higher. Okay. Side note is this with ADA. It's now broken above the 200. Each time this has happened previously, there's been some pretty amazing upside. So keep an eye on ADA. Breaking, I tweeted. Make sure follow me on Twitter, cryptobtc_Chris. I try to keep everybody as up to date as possible on as many things, and a lot of ties to traditional markets as far as the price of Bitcoin goes. So U.S. labor force is 10% of the U.S. labor force is now out of work since the panic situation slammed the economy. 6.6 million filed for jobless aid. Listen to this. In the last 3 weeks, 17 million people have filed for unemployment. Amazing numbers. And we talked about this previously. So there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of oil talks, and oil bounced a little bit today on this news. But the people were speculating this may help the price of Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin didn't move much. So oil had jumped 12% amid the Saudi Arabia and Russia have reached a deal where they want to cut 20 million barrels per day. Obviously, the price of oil is drastically reduced, and they're trying to cut supply to increase the price. So last I heard, President Trump was on a conference call with the president of Russia and the king of Saudi Arabia, and he's discussing the oil deal. There's supposed to be a news conference. I hadn't caught this at the time when I was making this video, but kind of keep an eye on this because, again, there's been a lot. Some people thought that, you know, the price of oil was tied to the price of Bitcoin. I've clearly the S&P 500 has been very closely correlated with the price of Bitcoin. This is the S&P 500 index, and this is why, you know, from time to time we're going to talk about some traditional market ideas. Now, this orange line here, this is Bitcoin, and you can see Bitcoin ran up, and the S&P ran up, and they dumped at the same time, and they bounced at the same time. Now, S&P, you've got this previous support for the S&P, which is now resistance. So will we see a pullback? The S&P 500 logs the best week since 1974. Wow. And, you know, Bitcoin obviously has been strong and bouncing. Like, how sustainable is this? You know, a lot of people are looking for a move lower by the S&P 500. And what will that mean for Bitcoin? So a lot of people are calling this Bitcoin move a sucker's rally. Listen, Dow's theory says for every impulse move, you get a correction of about 50%. So we had this huge drop. We had this huge fall in the price of Bitcoin, and it's not anything abnormal to see a big, strong bounce. Now, Bitcoin has bounced amazingly well, you know, so now there's kind of uncertainty, like where is the top? Where is this going to peak out at? You know, remember, we got the halving coming up, which kind of is a new paradigm that we're looking at in this space. And obviously the panic situation, so there's some variables, but you know, you have to use a stop loss, keep stops in place, and don't forget, you can't lose taking profits. At the end of the day, like if you miss a move, it's not the same as taking a loss. You're going to miss moves, right? Think about how many times over the course of a year these prices get revisited, right? It's just like back and forth, back and forth. So if you don't take your profits, somebody else will. Gemini lists Chainlink, DAI, and Orchid. Remember, Orchid just got listed on Coinbase not too long ago. The point is here, Chainlink in the news. And you know what? We've got this Chainlink setup in group, and everybody's been killing it on this Chainlink setup. I think we bought the breakout down here of this falling wedge right here. But again, a lot of people actually got in it. There's a lot of ways to get back into these trades. This is the 4-hour chart. You see you got a golden cross in the 4-hour chart right here, which definitely helps the price. And then you've got increasing price on increasing volume, which shows strength of the move. So Link has been, man, I saw Link at these levels when it fell off a cliff, and this was definitely a good trade to be in for sure. Link does so well because people, the hype factor, people have gravity, and it's listed on Coinbase and now Gemini. So again, if we do get a pullback from Bitcoin, you want to think, okay, what else am I picking up? Tezos, Link, Ethereum. Keep an eye on those altcoins. But again, it's all about, hey, when everybody else thinks this market's going to zero and crashing and everything's over with, and this might happen next week, next month, whatever, you know, when you get these huge retraces, that's the time When everybody thinks like this market's collapsing and is over with, that's the time. You have to retrain yourself, force yourself to get into some of these coins because they bounce. Historically, they bounce. This kind of builds the case for $8,000 Bitcoin, possibly. Bitcoin difficulty bounced. This person tweeted, Bitcoin difficulty up about 6% yesterday, back to levels seen when the price was over 8,000. Again, but the price hasn't quite corrected that way. So potentially this is a leading indicator for the price of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin Cash just had its halving, and that means it's paying out half as much Bitcoin Cash. And so people stopped mining it. Roger Ver stopped mining Bitcoin Cash after the halving. And basically, the idea is the price of these cryptos potentially follows the hash rate. So shortly after these halvings, a lot of these coins, I mean, look at Litecoin. Litecoin got completely wrecked after its halving, right? So what's going to happen to Bitcoin Cash? Let's see. And then what's going to happen to Bitcoin? There's always been a Bitcoin run up before the halving and a pullback after the halving. So just be mindful of that. Now, because there's a lack of hash power on Bitcoin Cash, the cost for essentially 51% attack on the Bitcoin Cash network is a lot cheaper. You could potentially use a Bitcoin where you'd essentially rent the hash power is how it would work. So there's a lot of things that can be manipulated in this market. Make sure you understand all of it, or as much as possible. I'm going to keep you up to date daily. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. BitMEX CEO predicts stimulus binge will push Bitcoin to 20,000 this year. He warns a massive drop may come first. Arthur Hayes, a lot of people don't like him, but his predictions, like I remember he was calling for $80 Ethereum a while ago, and it happened. He's pretty spot on with some of his predictions. So warns massive drop may come first. Bitcoin to 20,000. We're in for an amazing year either way. You just have to know when to be in the market and when to take profits and when to potentially sit on the sidelines and wait for things to happen. He said, Arthur Hayes went on to say that, hey, you know what? United States can print enough money to kind of initially weather the fallout from the panic situation. However, over time, it's going to catch up to us. He's basically talking about how the S&P is going to get hit and wrecked again. And I have a tendency to agree with him. Like there's going to be a pullback on the S&P. Bitcoin potentially would follow at some point. Now he's calling for Bitcoin crashing down again to lows, 3,800. He says 3,000. I don't know, if that exact number is going to happen. But now if we do get that big Bitcoin pullback at some point, that's a buy signal. If we put in a double bottom, possibly with some bullish divergence for Bitcoin, like that's your second chance to jump into this market. Jumping right into the market, chance number 2. If you guys like the content that I provide on a daily basis, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, hit the bell for notifications. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.